This video is about the hypocrisy of the West, divide and conquer, and the incel movement that I personally don't agree with, but I don't disagree with it any more than I disagree with any other movement in society. I don't expect anybody to stop what they're doing and do the right thing. I don't expect anybody to concede my point publicly. That's how bad it is. I don't expect that anyone can even begin to prove me wrong because it is so painfully obvious that I'm right, and I expect them all to be thoroughly terrorized by the government, by the corporate state, by the cults, to the point where they will not publicly agree with every point. That's how bad it is. While we're waging a war on terror. So first, let's think about something. If we were to divide the country in two, exactly, not just right and left political parties, but exactly in two, and one party was to criticize half of everything that's wrong with Western culture and cover half of Western culture, and the other party was to disagree with half of what is wrong with the other half of what is wrong with Western culture and to be right about everything, nobody would say they need to be silent. Why? Because they divide us. But if somebody was to make a video and say that Western culture is evil and wrong, and to make the same points that both sides made with pure truth, without trying to make themselves look good and lying about other things and downplaying other things and downplaying the opposition argument, then they would say, he can't say that. How stupid is that? In the same country where most people profess a faith in Christianity or some Abrahamic faith, where the general message is morality, and in Christianity and Islam, because it shares the Bible as a religious book, one of their religious books, the truth will set you free. So most people, according to them at least, believe the truth will set you free, but do not publicly come together and say, you have a right to tell the truth. So basically, because of fear and greed, this oppressive system exists. What came first, right? Man's fear and greed, or crony capitalism, or communism, etc., etc. It was man's fear and greed and reacting to the martial arts truths and the natural direction. So when we get the incel movement, well, first of all, where did it come from? It sprung from the Red Pill movement, right? The MGTOW movement, men's rights movement, right? These are bitter guys, and of these bitter guys, there's these more bitter guys, and some women who say, hey, I can relate, but I'm a woman, right? And they have the Black Pill, where they say, some of them advocate for violence against women. Now, first of all, we have to look at this thing and say, should the punishment fit the crime? Yes. I think we can all agree on that. Are there criminals that operate with impunity? Yes. I think we can all agree on that. Are women generally gold diggers as a result of the system, their fear, greed, and inability to transcend and conform with sacred morality and not mainstream social norms in one form or another? Yes, we can all agree with that. So are there a large number of attractive women that operate with impunity or at least benefit from making a killing in business, from drug dealers, the drug trade, the pharmaceuticals, the banking system, all the systems that pretty much everyone can agree on is corrupt? Yes. So we know that there's women that are cheating men out of what they would have naturally using the system. It's stupid not to see it that way. When the top martial artist who's tall, dark, and handsome, again, I'm not an incel, because even if I wasn't attractive, I see myself as attractive. There's women that do want to date me. I can go get pussy right fucking now. But I have an oath, and I demand the highest qualities of a woman, including a willingness to die for what she believes in, which used to be an admirable trait, but now is labeled extremism by the terrorists who go around terrorizing the world and labeling the opposition terrorists temporarily and teaming up with them when it suits them. They don't make deals with terrorists, but they're willing to team up with al-Nusra and al-Qaeda to, do these black ops in foreign countries. Obviously, it's hypocrisy. Obviously, America was founded by people who were throwing a rebellion. Some of them were extremists who were willing to die, right? Give me liberty or give me death. And then we turn around and wage war on people who label themselves freedom fighters. We can't prove them wrong. We can only cause prison breaks to occur and cause the rise of a criminal Islamic State. Mind you, al-Baghdadi prisoners. We can only cause them to rise up and take charge. So yes, the war on terror is bullshit, or we would start at home. The biggest terrorists in the world are right here. Even if they don't want to admit that, why is the biggest prison population here? Obviously, you cannot wage a war on these ideas without waging a war on the American people. We all know that. We see the whistleblowers and so on. What we don't want to admit is it's more than just a small group of criminals behind the government. It's more than just a political party you don't like. The left is not standing with me. The right is not standing with me. Nobody's standing with me because they're all on some bullshit. They're on some fear, greed, selfish, play stupid bullshit. Watch the world go to hell. Pray to a God that they are defying by not living in truth and not standing with Chukwa and Mecca. Pray to a God that despises their cowardice, that told them to carry their cross and they're not doing it. How are you going to pray to God when you're defying all his commandments? You're lusting for women, according to your book, your Christian book. This is not my book anymore. I'm no longer a Christian. According to your book, you are lusting for women. You are stealing from your fellow man using the crony capitalist system. God didn't say if it's part of the system, it's okay. No, he said, thou will not steal, kill, and do all these things. Lust for your neighbors, this, and this. You're lusting for those things. You're ripping them off for those things. You're all hypocrites. The left is openly satanic. They pretend to care about the poor. They push big government. They team up with scum and so on. They rip off the poor. They don't stand with Chukwu and Mecca. These people are fanatically shallow, fanatically cowards, fanatically afraid cowards, and fanatically greedy, among other things. They are extremists in the most despicable way. Any day I'd rather team up with somebody who's fanatical about a moral system, even if it's imperfect, than a fanatical coward from the West. That is despicable. Where's your heart? Where's your desire to do the right thing? You want to preserve your life. When it comes to your animal nature, what makes you no better than an animal? Self-preservation is the highest animal instinct. But if you're to claim to be civilized, devotion to morality, the principle of good and God become the highest instincts, the highest truths. If you cannot do that, you need to step down, take off your clothes, and run naked through the desert, the jungle, and the snow. Because you are an animal, and there is no place in civilized society for you. Society was not started by animals. It was started by martial artists creating higher principles. Then the technology bitches took over. It doesn't matter if you have a PhD in this, a degree in that. You're an animal. You can teach monkeys and dolphins tricks. It doesn't make them humans. So, I tell you the truth. You women who are attractive are more wrong for shunning me than any serial killer or incel movement motherfucker or any fucking rapist is wrong for raping you. You are upholding this system with one of the most desirable things that exists within it, and that is an attractive woman. As a group, you maintain this murderous process so that you can subject your kids to it. That is your justification. And some of you claim to be religious and this, and we have a higher cause. How is your higher cause saving yourself and giving your kids to a pedophile system? How is that a higher cause? How is that honorable? How are you able to sit there and not see that I'm right? Why does it take someone like me to say these things? And when he does, why aren't you moved? Why don't you stop and rise in the Spirit of God? Because you are a lesser sex animal bitch who chooses lesser men who are behaving like animals. My job is to transform you. There's very little genes left in you that can overcome the others. And as I have said time and time again, you are hellspawn that are here to demean yourselves and everyone else, or you would have transformed. Morality would have been a higher calling than survival. We're all dying anyway. What kind of a fool can't see that?